I very much saw a woman on my bike ride yesterday on Sunday at 3 p.m. Do a full vomit just onto the pavement outside her car. And you know what? I hope that lady is living okay. I hope she's living her best life. Ooh, look at this sun. Amen. You know, I don't even like this lip gloss, but we're giving it a try in the summer. We're giving it a little try. It's been a minute. Hello. How y'all doing in the neighborhood? How we doing? I have been loving life and loving myself lately. I don't know where it came from, honey. I was off my med for 2 days. 2 days, and you know how you know you're off your meds? Because you be having thoughts like, maybe I don't need them. Maybe I don't fucking need them. Like, I'm so happy. And that's exactly when you know you need to be back on your meds. So I'm back. We're back. But the point being that, oh my gosh, I finally took my little online girls life coach advice to like fall in love with yourself and be obsessed with yourself and make yourself your number one obsession. And baby, life has been different. Life has been different internally. Oh baby, internally life has been so good. It's just so interesting. Anyways, so many things to update you on. Okay, so I saw maybe the best video in the world. I watch far too much dating content online. It's just so interesting because I do love the sociological, psychological standpoints of it. That's my special interest. But anyways, from a dating perspective, I saw this good video. I think I'll link it below if I remember. But it was just about how like being single is like the best thing you could do. And for once, it actually provided points and examples. And it really got me thinking as to basically, there are two videos. One was about the fact that like the loneliness epidemic is the worst it's ever been. And yes, social media is a part of that. Yes, dating apps are a part of that. But I do believe if we could study like the decline of third places, of communities, of institutions, of dinner parties, of churches, of gathering spots, you would see that that is also this like this force in addition to the rise of dating apps is the decline of everywhere else we would have been. And I think that's more important than the rise of dating apps. I don't really think dating apps are neither here nor there. I do think, and there's a very interesting perspective that I got yesterday that I wanted to share with you, that there is an enshittification of community that has come from social media. Social media has created a lot of great, like now you can find a Pokemon meetup for only people in Peoria, Illinois, and you can meet people that you wouldn't have met with super specific niche interests. But I think the flip side of literally being, having so many of these online dating apps and things is that essentially they've replaced in-person gathering, but they've enshittified the filters that you use to find people. What do I mean? This doesn't even make any sense. Let me give you an example. So before, we would meet people in person. Like, let's say you met someone in person at your friend's dinner party where you were discussing geopolitical relations and also your love of Bon Iver, right? Am I even pronouncing that right? Bon Iver? Whatever. And then you somehow, vibe with a guest beside you and you end up dating this person. Now, let me tell you what criteria that gathering had that a dating app could never replace. Number one, mutual friends. Mutual friends is the best indicator of shared values, of shared age groups, of shared socioeconomic status, of shared upbringing. You're in the same circles of the same people at colleges. Like my best friend is essentially with her fiance is somebody who was in college with her around the same time that was like in a friend group over from hers. So they've had so much common lived experience. They've had similar sensibilities. The friends are making the same kinds of jokes. They're in the same era. You know what I mean? They have similar musical interests. They're both very artsy. All of these things were filtered, were baked into the curation of how they met, which is through mutual friends, right? Now, when you strip away that connection, and I swear to God, Hinge used to be people who were within 6 degrees of connection of you. Maybe I am lying to myself, but that I do recall back in the day, that was the the original value proposition of Hinge was that everybody that you matched with was somehow connected to your Facebook friends, and everybody that you matched with was within 6 degrees of separation to you. So there was a lot stronger of a likelihood that you would have shared upbringing, similar interests, shared socioeconomic background, shared educational background, all that stuff. Because as we know, birds of a feather flock together. I do believe, I'm gonna go look this up, but I truly swear, if I hallucinated this, that would be crazy. That would be crazy, because I promise you it was at one point, but I guess people ran out of connections and you can't really monetize, you know, the limited social network that you have that's 6 degrees of separation from you. And also nobody probably wants to upload their shit to Facebook, but I mean to connect it with their Facebook friends, and fewer people on Facebook. This is a psyop that I have completely tricked myself into if this doesn't exist. But anyways, now if you go to a dinner party, right, the dinner party that I mentioned, you're finding people who are already in your zone of interest. They're already in your zeitgeist, so to speak. They're in your age bracket. They're in your similar educational background, because as we said, birds of a feather flock together. However, now, when you introduce dating apps have all of these explicit criteria that give you the illusion of choice. However, there is no algorithm, no black box, no nothing that is strong enough to replace, let's say if you're meeting someone at a dinner party, there are like 30 to 100 different data points of connection. An algorithm at best is going to have 10 different data points of connection. Age, height, they're not even gonna have points of connection. They're gonna have points of selectivity, which is not necessarily connectivity. I don't know what someone's height has to do with my ability to vibe with them in person. When I go to the gym and there's a short king on the machine and I'm waiting for the machine, baby, my Hinge settings are my height and above. But let me tell you about that little 5'6" man, he could get it. Do you understand? Like, I would not have, so that's an example, let's say, of a microcosm of people don't know what they want. I don't know why my height filter is that, because that's clearly not correct. So I'm missing out on a lot of people I would have otherwise known. And then, for example, it's giving me the illusion of choice when I'm able to select political affiliation, height, where someone went to school, what their job is, all that stuff. When I'm able to filter out by religiousness and stuff like that, it's giving me the illusion of choice. However, when I meet people who are mutual friends, I would love to do a study to see how many of those different qualifiers are actually reflected in people I meet in person. It's not like I find out that somebody doesn't have a job or went to XYZ university and I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. If we have mutual friends, we're vibing. So it's so interesting that, you know, a company can come along, sort people into these arbitrary identifiers or give them these arbitrary data points, give you access and control over the data points to make you think that you know what you like, when in reality, we don't know what we like. We kind of just go with the flow. How many of us, if a friend was like, I have someone I want you to meet, we'd be like, no. Are they over this? Do they have this educational background? Are they looking for a long-term relationship as opposed to short? Are they, interested in Settlers of Catan? I don't want to meet them if not. Like, it's the enshittification. It's like we outsource to these developers the concept of human connection. They came back with like, oh, you're really going to care about these 13 things. And then we're like, sure, we trust you. That's not true. It's like we really got scammed. Like, as a generation, we got scammed because, and I think there's probably some narcissism involved to it as well, right? Like, to think that we would all like to think that we know ourselves better than I think we do, right? We would all like to think that. I would like to think that XYZ is a deal breaker for me. That if someone is XYZ religious affiliation, that I would not want to go out with them. But you know what? Life is more nuanced than that. And so it overfloods our feeds with this endless paradox of choice. B, dating apps give us this illusion that we can simplify human beings into like 13 data points. C, the 13 data points don't necessarily correlate to compatibility at all. We would like to think they do, but they don't necessarily, right? Like, well, yes, like if someone's like a staunch conservative and you're staunchly progressive, yes, that might not make for a long-term partnership, but that is not to say y'all couldn't be friends or that person doesn't have a valuable conversation to have. And then B or F4, J, they have the audacity to charge you to use this algorithm that's not even good. And then we all get frustrated and feel like it's so hard to meet people. Baby, they never perfected the formula. They never perfected the formula before they started selling it to you in this new packaging and talking about this is what you need, this is how you meet people. Historically, it has never been. I just am so surprised and flabbergasted at myself too that I allowed myself to believe this lie for this long. Like, there's no way. This was impossible. This was empirically impossible. And no shade to the people who have found people they like on these dating platforms, but like, I would consider that the exception to the rule. It's really hard. It's just really hard. I mean, like, imagine something else like art. Imagine art that you're used to just like going to an art gallery to see, and they put all the art in the world on this app. And you're like, okay, well, I like modern art. I like African art. Let me choose that art and let me look at this art. I'm going to have a great experience. Not really. It wouldn't be the same as going in person, because when you have a pop-up Kehinde Wiley Art Institute that's at the University of Madison, Wisconsin, and you go to an event there, number one, you have a curator who studied art history and studied how to like put together a collection for years, curating this experience, curating the feeling that you'll have as you'll walk through this place, better than any app could. You'll have the type of people who live in Wisconsin who probably have something in common with you, maybe similar where like their family lives or something like that, coming to the exhibit in person. You'll have people who care about Black art and Kehinde Wiley coming to the exhibit in that subsection of people who live in Wisconsin. Like, there are so many data points in real life that could not be reduced to an algorithm. And even if they were, bitch, we would need way more than the 13 available to us on these apps. We would need so many more. We would need like conscientiousness. We would need how open-minded people are. We would need how often they work out a week. We would need their likeliness to go to a candle class with us. There's so many things, man. I don't know if I explained this well, but baby, I blew my mind wide open when I was watching that video last night. I was like, wow, we really got scammed. We were eating custard. And it got swapped out with sawdust that was 5 times the price. And we said, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Should we be so blessed for this sawdust? We really got flizzled. Anyways, y'all can find me in person, meeting people where the aura is farmed and the riz can be experienced in person, because dating apps was a big scam. They're such a scam. Bye.